overall, just kind of what I finished telling these guys, I thought we did a lot of things well. I thought our energy, kind of how we started the game, really in all three phases. There's going to be a lot of good things on tape we like, and then the one area that has to get cleaned up are the penalties. And more importantly, the pre-snap penalties. Not the ones that are taking place during a play, but the ones that happen before we even snap the ball. So we'll get that cleaned up. But overall, thought it was a good night in a lot of areas. Any questions? All of them I thought played well, which I don't know if it clears up our but I thought we got into the defense. We got downhill into the defense a number of times. RJ's touchdown. I thought for the most part, and I thought as the game wore on, our down and distances, our third downs were much more favorable than theirs. And I think that's going to, I'm sure it had a lot to do with the conversion rate as well.
Coach, you mentioned Troy Franklin in May as a guy who could potentially take a jump this season. How much have you seen him kind of increase the different ways he's been able to help in this offense?
Yeah, it's happening, and I'm excited. I think we just got to be smart because he's playing two spots, but he's had a really good camp. He's confident, and I've said this a bunch of times. It has to happen on the field, and you guys that have covered this team or any other team, like you see it in the preseason every year. Some players that begin to make some plays and it carries over. And so that's why these games are important. Obviously, it's challenging when you're not going to play your starting group, but when you see growth like that in every year, we don't know who those players are going to be, but he played well tonight. Well, I think to really get into that, it's been the procurement, whether in the draft, post-draft, we've done a nice job with, bringing in players, signing free agents, and then, true NFL free agents that are veterans. The combination of the last 2 years of us bringing in the right type of players and having the vision for the players, I think, to the scouts, to George, to everyone who's been involved in that process, having a clear vision for each position. And it's never going to be, you try to bat whatever. It's not going to be perfect, but we've hit on a number of decisions, and that's encouraging.
Starting with the Broncos. Bo made the playoffs as a rookie.
Oh
yeah. Oh, my. Ceiling's 11-6. Floor is 6-11. He's out here making no-look throws, and his opponents are saying that he made the leap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's first?
You're first, of course.
Well, listen, I know what the easy answer is. They won 10 games last year.
Yeah.
Why can't they win 11 this year? And the answer is because I don't think, now maybe I'll be wrong, I don't think this year they're going to be able to play more than half of their games against starting quarterbacks who are either no longer in the league or not starting quarterbacks. I think the defense should be very good again. My trepidation on that is the two big defensive additions they made are great players who were available in large part because they've been so injured the last couple of years. The two Niners guys, Hufanga, who was unbelievable as a rookie, been injured since then, and Greenlaw, who since he popped his Achilles has dealt with a bunch of injury stuff. However, I think they have a brutal schedule in a brutal division, and I do not like their weapons. We were talking the other day about, teams, average, above average.
Yeah.
I think the Broncos' weapons rank near the bottom of the league. Now, we'll see what the RJ Harvey, the rookie running back, does. I know Sean Payton likes him, but I could see, not only could I see this team, I anticipate that this team is going to finish last in the AFC West. So while I'm not calling 6-11, I think 6-11 is more likely than 11-6 for everybody's Super Bowl darling, the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I'm not calling 11-6, though I think it's possible. So I'm going ceiling.
Okay.
And Sean Payton, we all know, is a very good coach. You can get mad at some of the things he said.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. The Denver Broncos just sent shockwaves through the NFL with a jaw-dropping 27-7 annihilation of the Arizona Cardinals in their second preseason clash of 2025. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement. A 97-yard opening drive that left the Cardinals gasping for air. Powered by new faces and raw hunger, Jarrett Stidham, the backup QB with a chip on his shoulder, carved up the field like a surgeon, throwing for 240 yards and 2 touchdowns. But was this a glimpse of a Super Bowl contender? Or just preseason hype? Let's dive into the fire. But while the Broncos' offense lit up the night, what about the players who made it happen? Let's zoom in on the stars who stole the show. Jarrett Stidham didn't just play, he dominated, completing 16 of 23 passes for 240 yards, including 2 laser-guided touchdown strikes to rookie sensation Troy Franklin, a 27-yard dart down the left sideline, then a 17-yard beauty to seal the first half. Franklin, the wide receiver Sean Payton's been hyping all camp, proved he's no fluke. 2 touchdowns, 7 yards on a clutch sideline. Grab this, kids. Got it. But here's the controversy. With Bo Nix as the starter, is Stidham's brilliance a luxury or a problem? Some say he's outshining the rookie phenom, raising questions about Denver's QB future. And Franklin, Coach Payton says he's confident and playing 2 spots. But can he climb a depth chart stacked with veterans? The Broncos' weapons might rank near the bottom of the NFL, but nights like this make you wonder, are we sleeping on a breakout star? While Stidham and Franklin stole the headlines, the Broncos' new additions were just getting started. Let's talk about the free agent spark that ignited this rout. Evan Engram, the Broncos' marquee free agent signing, didn't just show up, he exploded. A 58-yard catch and run that ripped the Cardinals' defense apart, racking up 5 yards after catch over expected, per NFL Next Gen stats. This was Engram's debut at Empower Field, and he made every one of his 8 snaps count. But here's the kicker. Engram, alongside defensive additions like Talanoa Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw, comes with baggage. Injuries have plagued these former 49ers stars. Hufanga, a rookie sensation, hasn't been the same since. Greenlaw's Achilles tear still looms large. Are the Broncos banking on fragile talent to carry them? Rookie RB RJ Harvey, a second-round pick, punched in an 8-yard touchdown, but with only 18 yards on 3 carries. Is he the answer to Denver's lackluster run game? The numbers don't lie. 562 total offensive yards for Denver, 135 for Arizona. This was a massacre, but can these injury-prone stars sustain this dominance? The offense was electric, but what about the defense that suffocated Arizona? Let's break down the Broncos' ironclad unit. The Cardinals didn't just lose, they were crushed. Denver's defense, a unit some call elite, held Arizona to a pathetic 135 total yards and a measly 2 of 13 third-down conversions. That's right, 2 out of 13. Outside linebacker Jonah Ellis brought the heat, tackling Cardinals RB Michael Carter for a loss. But here's the rub. The Broncos' defense leaned on new faces like Hufanga and Greenlaw, whose injury histories cast a shadow. The AFC West is a meat grinder. Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and now Davante Adams with the Raiders. Can this defense, as good as it looked, survive a brutal schedule? Critics are already whispering. Denver's 6-11 floor is more likely than their 11-6 ceiling. The Cardinals' backups were outmatched, sure. But what happens when Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. show up for real? This defense is a ticking time bomb, or is it a juggernaut? While the defense stood tall, the Cardinals' collapse raises questions. What went wrong for Arizona? Let's flip the script. For the Arizona Cardinals, this wasn't a game, it was a disaster. Outgained 561 to 135, averaging a pitiful 2.9 yards per play while allowing 7. Their young receivers, like Xavier Weaver and Tejon Palmer, dropped crucial passes, squandering chances to shine. Jacoby Brissett, the steady backup, went 6 for 8 for 57 yards and a touchdown, but it wasn't enough. The Cardinals' secondary was torched, allowing 402 passing yards to Denver's backups. Cornerback Denzel Burke was burned deep twice, and penalties plagued the unit. Coach Jonathan Gannon called the joint practice earlier in the week the real test. But this 27-7 drubbing, it's a wake-up call. Are the Cardinals' backups this bad, or is Denver just that good? One thing's clear. Arizona's depth is crumbling, and the regular season looms like a storm. But what does this all mean for the Broncos season? Let's wrap this up with a bold prediction. The Denver Broncos are 2-0 the preseason, with 562 yards of offense, and a defense that suffocates, Sean Payton's vision, new faces, smart drafts, and veteran signings looks brilliant. But let's not drink the Kool-Aid yet. The AFC West is a gauntlet, and Denver's weapons rank near the league's bottom. R.J. Harvey's 8-yard touchdown was a spark, but 18 yards on 3 carries won't cut it against Kansas City. Stidham and Franklin are turning heads, but penalties, especially pre-snap ones, could derail this team. Payton himself said it. We've got to clean that up. Are the Broncos a dark horse for 11-6, or are they doomed for 6-11? One thing's certain. This 27-7 rout has everyone talking. Drop your predictions below. Are the Broncos for real? Or is this just preseason smoke and mirrors? Stay tuned for more NFL breakdowns, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for the latest updates.